What's up? Will here with Rennthusiast, my YouTube channel about Porsche ownership. Subscribers get insight into what it's like to live with, love, and sometimes hate the world of Porsche ownership. If you're looking for buying tips, selling tips, modding tips, repairing tips, this is your place. Welcome to my 997.2 pre-purchase inspection grand reveal. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly what my pre-purchase inspection found on a 997.2 that I'm currently evaluating for purchase. Now, let me give you a spoiler alert. The results were very, very good, or at least good enough to lead me to purchase the car, which is sitting right here to my right. That's the good news. The bad news is I was very, very disappointed with the way that the information was shared with me, and I was very, very disappointed in the lack of photographic evidence to support the findings of the shop. In the video, I'll take you through the rather elementary information that I did get on the car. I'll talk to you a little bit about maybe what concerned me, what hasn't concerned me, and then I'll also be giving you a glimpse into what's coming down the pipe with this 997.2 content. The purpose of this video series is to give you, the viewer, insight into just how kind of rare these cars are, how hard it is to find them, what the process of investigating one that maybe you're interested in looks like, what the typical offerings are like out there. And I'm also going to share with you guys what it's like to purchase one, to sort one out, to repair it if needed. I'm going to share with you mods to it, and I'm going to share with you ultimately what it's like to enjoy the car. So let us now jump into the PPI findings. Okay, welcome to the grand reveal portion of this pre-purchase inspection video. Before I jump into the findings, the specific findings themselves, I'll share with you two bits of information. First of all, this is the most expensive pre-purchase inspection I've ever done on any of the Porsches that I have featured on the channel. The price of this particular inspection was right at $1,100. And the reason that it was so expensive is because I wanted to have the cylinders scoped to make sure that there was no bore scoring. I won't get into all of the bore scoring stuff and you know, whether or not the 997.2, the 09s through the 12s actually have bore scoring and all that. But for me, I wanted peace of mind that the cylinder walls have not been compromised. That on this particular vehicle is a pretty labor-intensive process to do, hence the high price point. So $1,100, I was willing to pay that. I found that price to be expensive, but probably not out of line. And so I just wanted to share that on the front end. Would love to hear comments, thoughts on that price point. The second thing that I will say, and I alluded to this in the intro, the reason that I'm disappointed with the pre-purchase inspection report is not necessarily what the findings on the car are. The car is largely good. I was happy with what the shop found, or reportedly found, with the car. The borescope report came back clean. I'll get into this in a moment. They told me the spark plugs were all a consistent color. And all that good stuff. So you know, I'll touch on all that in a moment, as I said. But you know, the problem I have is that they provided no pictures of any of this stuff, really in any detail, right? So I've had a borescope done before. I had it done on a 996, and I actually did a pre-purchase inspection reveal video on that particular car. And in that video, they gave me images of the cylinder walls. This shop also claimed to put you know, a paint meter on the car, and he told me that it was 2.5 to 3 mils consistently across the body, but I got no pictures of that. And so, you know, on the one hand, it's very nice that the shop has a good reputation and that the owner's word is good, and you know, that I have some documentation of findings. But you know, on the other side of that, man, I would prefer to have pictures to go along with this report so that I can share those to a potential buyer down the road. I don't have that. My part in this issue is that I assumed that I would get photographic evidence when I hired this shop. It was so obvious that the shop would do that they would take pictures, that I didn't I didn't even think to ask, and so shame on me. So that's the whole like kind of front end disclaimer on this thing. Let me now get into the findings and kind of tell you where I'm going with this car next. So it's an '09, 83,000 miles on it. I shared this in previous videos, like the positives on this car. It's a guards red example, pretty rare color. You don't see it a lot on these 997.2s. It's a manual. It's a Carrera 2S. It ticks a lot of boxes, and so with the mileage, in my view, it makes it a good driver as long as it's mechanically sound. And so I don't have a problem with 83,000 miles. In fact, I find that kind of enticing, and it should be a fun test on the channel, too, to see whether or not you can buy a high-mileage 911 without really regretting it. Panel fit and gap, I mean, I like that he looked at that, and I like that there's no bodywork noted. That's something that really turns me off about a car, is if it's got accident history or if it's not original paint. It just creates question marks in my mind. No paint work found, some scratches on the underside of the front bumper. The pictures that he did give me were pictures that were taken of the underside of the car on a lift. Much appreciated pictures, but nevertheless, they're not the type of pictures that I wanted. The really, internal kind of special pictures. Okay, no issues here with the moldings, rubber trim and gaskets, window glass, fine. All the lights worked, that's fine. The tires are in good shape, which is always a positive. So, hey, decent information, very elementary format. I've seen, a actual, like a graphical report that has been generated on PPIs in the past that I've done. So this is, unfortunately very simplistic. All right. Dashboard. That's good. The dashboard is in good condition. The seats are fine. Carpet's fine. All of these things, on the one hand, I mean, I don't want to sound too negative. On the one hand, I'm glad that all of this is working and that he's making note of all this stuff. The sunroof works. That's great. The mirror on the right side, the passenger mirror, actually the exterior, mirror that when you put it in reverse, it tilts downwards when you have it set up correctly. That is jumpy. It's not noted here. I imagine that if it's not going to go, it definitely needs to be repaired. That's not noted here. The AC and heater, this was interesting to me, and I didn't realize that foam coming from the HVAC ducting is a normal issue on the 997s. I do know it's a normal issue on the 996s. I experienced it on both 996s that I owned, so I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised to see this. Yeah, I just didn't know it was an issue. Carpet's good, as we touched on. Okay, great. The jack and the air pump's there. The front hood shocks need replacement. They seem to do okay when it's warm out. They don't do well when it's cold. Bump stops at the front and right front have some seepage. I noticed this when I'm driving the car. I'll get into that in my future videos on the driving experience. I was surprised that the shocks and the bushings were fine. Steering rack, no leaks. Great. The brakes are good. Undercarriage condition, good condition. I might push back on that. Wait till you see the pictures. Okay, no leaks. Fantastic. Belts are good. Radar detector, a pretty cool one actually is installed. Clutch. I am definitely skeptical of the life left in the clutch. I specifically asked them to give me their opinion on it. He said no issues. When I'm driving the car, I kind of I have a sense that it's probably near end of life. I do know that a lot of these cars have had to have the clutch replaced 40, 50, 60,000 miles. So for me at 83K, I'm just kind of wondering if I'm not living on borrowed time. Smoothness under acceleration, interesting. I mean, I guess that's something you're going to want to know about. I found that to be, how about this? I've not seen that in other PPIs as something that they report in on. So that's it. And as I said to you, really for me, the thing that I'm paying up for big time is the borescope piece. So let's next go to the pictures. All right, and I mean I'm going to go on record and just say sometimes I don't. When I look at these pictures, maybe I'm missing something. Now, once I got the spreadsheet stuff and I had the chance to go through it, I then called the shop and I got the owner on the phone and I said, hey, do you want to tell me some more information about the PPI? And I was a little bit surprised given that I had only gotten the spreadsheet. He said, well, what do you want to know? And I'm like, well, do I get pictures? He's like, oh yeah, I'll have some pictures sent over. You didn't already get them? I'm like, no. So I found it really strange that I hadn't gotten the pictures yet. And I also found it really strange that I didn't get some sort of voluntary walkthrough of the PPI results, especially for $1,100. I mean, he just basically said, "Hey, I'm willing to answer any questions," which is fine. Anyway, I don't want to keep harping on the negative experience, so I'll just stop now. Here you go. You got a little bit of torn undercarriage there. You do get the sense, like you can see here, that the plugs were out, which is nice, but you're not getting any pictures of the borescope screen itself showing you what the inside of the cylinder walls look like. Car has a laser jammer radar detector system installed, which is cool. Unfortunately, it looks like somebody's curbed it. Something happened here. Something happened there. There. So you say, hey, is the undercarriage of the car good? I don't know. I mean, there's some fairly extensive paint damage under here. If you know exactly what I'm looking at here, I would love to hear from you in the comments. I mean, I'm just not mechanically inclined. I don't see anything that's jumping out at me right now, though. Yeah, that's, I see that the under tray has been dinged up a little bit. Not sure what's going on here. The other side of the motor, I mean, you can see the other three spark plugs were out. But again, I don't know what's going on inside of there. I believe this is the leaky strut. And so that's it. Okay, and here we go. This is what I was told is really evidence of findings. This is what is supposed to give me peace of mind about the condition of the car. So when I chatted with the shop owner after the PPI was performed, I said, hey, look, man, I love that you have a good reputation. I love that the seller feels good about you. And I'm glad to know that this car is clean. However, I just feel disappointed because I can't stand behind that with pictures. And he simply told me, hey, my invoice is what you would look at and share with a buyer as being something showing that a PPI was clean on this car when you purchased it at 83,000 miles. And as you can see here, he noted what happened with it. No debris found in the oil filter. He removed the spark plugs to inspect the bores. It was good. All spark plugs are the same color. I was supposed to get a picture of the spark plugs. I don't know that I did. I'd have to go back and look. It could be in a separate email. There were a lot of emails going back and forth. Removed the sump plate to inspect the bores. Good. Scan the ECU. No faults. There were some over revs. 63 in range one only. Inconsequential. And then, of course, I had to pay for an oil change because when you go do this work, you dump all the oil out of it. So on the one hand, I mean, I'm thrilled that the car is clean, and so I ended up purchasing the car, as you heard me share. On the other hand, I'm just, I wish I had more. I ended up buying the car, and I had the car shipped to North Carolina where I live, and when the car showed up, I immediately felt, when I shifted from first to second, kind of a catch. It didn't grind. I mean, it went into gear, it went into second gear. There weren't any huge problems, but it was definitely something noteworthy. And I immediately noticed it, and it had not been mentioned to me as part of the PPI. I called the shop, and he said to me, hey, I had a tech with 40 years of experience drive the car. And I'm like, I hear you, but I can't believe this wasn't noted. I'm not saying it would chase me away, but it's something that was worthy of at least mentioning. Well, he didn't notice it, but we do see this all the time, and it's no big deal. And I'm thinking, well, if you see it all the time, I can't believe you didn't mention it and find it. So to me, that part of the story just didn't really line up. As we talked more, he said, oh, there's a fix. You need to call a company called G-Box, and this is what they'll sell you, and it'll go away. I called G-Box, and they said, no, it won't fix it. So I want to be clear. I'm always very transparent about my cars when I share them on the channel. I did a lot of research into this kind of second gear issue. Apparently, this gearbox can be a little bit finicky. I think that it kind of reminds me of other gearboxes that I've owned, cars that I've owned, where you just got to be a little careful going into second while the gearbox is cold. Once the car really heats up, though, zero problems. And so this is the story of the PPI. I would love to hear your all's kind of overall take on this experience. I have had great PPIs in the past in terms of the substance that was delivered to me, reports, pictures, so on and so forth. And then I've had others that are very kind of just verbal walkthroughs on the phone. But that said, I've learned a lot, and I know what I want in a PPI, and unfortunately in this case, it wasn't it. So please keep your eyes open for the next video I'll be publishing. This is the video where the car is delivered to me, and I give you an honest first drive point of view video with commentary. So again, if Porsche is your thing, please subscribe to this channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.